What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ProMG Money channel. Back again with another video. And if I'm honest with you, I had a different video planned for today, but I think we really need to address the current market sell-off. So what exactly is happening? And let me start off by saying this is what I think, or from the little research I've done, or the things that I've looked at, why I think there is a current sell-off. Because I mean, if you look at all of the indexes, the Nasdaq, I think the S&P is down. If you look at cryptocurrency, I think Bitcoin is down. It's cryptocurrency. If Bitcoin is down, everything else is down. Pretty much everything is down at the moment. And the reason for that, or the reason why I understand it to be that way, is that the Fed, or the Federal Reserve in America, being the USA, is going to be increasing interest rates. And why is this a significant thing? Well, I think the first thing is that it means that any kind of debt or any kind of loans that people had taken are going to be a lot more expensive now versus when they had initially taken them out, particularly if it's not a fixed interest rate thing. Why that's significant is that a lot of people have probably bought or used debt or leveraged, a lot of their buying of companies. So, a company that was doing good, that had a nice rally and kept going up, people, took out debt to pay or to buy those stocks in the hope that the money they'll make will cover the difference. And sort of with the realization that debt is now more expensive, first of all, those people, I'm not saying that they're selling particularly, but it causes a bit of sell pressure when their debt is more expensive. This is now people buying stocks. If you take it to the actual companies themselves, a lot of them, probably what drives a lot of the growth is also as well potential acquisitions or things they've bought in the past, but they bought them using debt at a particular level. But now that the cost of that debt is now going up, and there's concerns or questions on whether companies will be able to actually keep up with those debt payments. So I think the duality of the debt situation, where people are using debt to buy stocks, this will also apply to crypto, that people were using a lot of debt to buy into crypto, and that the concern is now, will the gains that they make from that outperform the new cost or the new price of that debt? So that's pretty much why there's quite a big sell-off. I know as well that in terms of the geopolitical space, when it comes to Russia and the Ukraine, things are not okay there, and that's having an effect on fuel prices, which also has a knock-on effect on other things. So I'd say that's a lot less significant versus the Fed's decision to raise interest rates. I don't think they've raised them yet. I think they still are going to raise them, but just the news that rates will be increased, the market generally does tend to be shy or sell off when that happens. So it's been a really big sell off, and basically this video is about what I would do in this situation. Okay, so now basically there's sort of three scenarios that you find yourself in. You're someone who's brand new to the market, you've never invested in anything, and the question is, what should you do? For me personally, those people should, as soon as they possibly can, start doing their research on companies who have sold off quite a bit and they think are going to come back up. During this time, a lot of companies, whether they were overvalued to begin with, or they were priced in just right, because the whole market is down, they will generally go down with the market. And even though there'll be days where they come up ever so slightly, it's rarely ever you see a big sell-off like the one we've had now, and companies go immediately back to where they were. So I would say, find a company that you feel before the sell-off, it was at fair value, or what you deem to be a fair value, and look into getting back into that company. That's what I would do. Sorry, not back in, get into that company rather, because this is now for someone who is a brand new investor. So find stocks that were at a certain high before. Look at what caused the sell-off. Was it purely the entire market sell-off, or did something happen in that company to push it down? If nothing really happened, I would say then that is an opportunity for you to get into that company and sort of go with it. I've not really looked at something like Tesla to see how Tesla is doing, but I think Tesla is a bad example, because I think the entire thing is quite overvalued and it's not very easy to establish the true value of Tesla. But look at a company. I was recently watching something where they were speaking about Netflix, saying has Netflix, the sell-off that it's had now, is it just a second chance to get into Netflix, or is that the end of Netflix? And there's arguments to be had on both sides, but for me personally, if I could, or if it was another companies that I was getting into, I definitely would get into Netflix. Even though it's had a bit of a sell-off, I definitely feel it can get back to where it was. Next is for those of you who are following along with a strategy of time in the market versus timing the market. And if you're someone like me who does what they call dollar cost averaging, or is it rand cost averaging in our case, meaning that you have a set amount of money that every month you put it into the stock market no matter what happens. I would say leave it there. Continue to put your money into those things and don't make any moves. Don't sell anything, don't buy anything, or buy what you normally would be buying, but don't buy any differently. That's sort of the principle of this whole dollar cost averaging thing. And definitely I will do a video in the future on dollar cost averaging or rand cost averaging in our opinion, how I think it's one of the best methods, to go over. The whole Lobola challenge was based off of, that principle that every month you're putting in money and something has to happen with that. So definitely, if you're one of those people who follow that philosophy, I would say stick to it. Last is, people who are more speculative investors, people who go in and out of different companies. It all depends on, how you fared. If you've had, a really big loss, generally I'm a person who likes to, wait it out. I've been buying into, ARK Invest Innovation ETF pretty much since the beginning of 2021 after it had, I think a really good 2020. And it's not been kind to me, and the question I'm sitting with is, do I sell off or do I leave it to go on? The thing about it is that if I was to take that money out, I'd definitely be selling at a loss, and it would definitely help to offset some of the winnings or the tax liabilities that are attached to the winnings that I would have. But generally for me, it's something that I thought, at long term this thing will work out for me. And even though a lot of people are saying Cathay Wood is a bit crazy and all of that, I still think in the long term I will make my money from that. So definitely it's something that I'm going to hold on to. But there are some other stocks, like, there's a lot of meme stocks that I'd gotten into when they were hot and they're doing really badly now. I'm really considering selling those, because those I didn't buy with the purpose of, holding them for a long term. They weren't marriage stocks. It was literally something I was getting into. They were down, and because it's not money that I'm necessarily going to miss or that I need, I was happy to see them go down in the hopes that after some time it will come back up. But the stocks keep going down, and I think it's time for me to look for an exit strategy. So definitely I feel as though if you've been down on stocks for a very long time, like I have with your ARK Invest, with I'm in GameStop, I think BlackBerry as well. Nokia is one of the meme stocks that's actually doing okay, and I sold off of my AMC some time ago. But basically, if you're in those kind of stocks, things that were a punt that didn't work, I would say sell off. Also, if you're in meme stocks or something that was really, really speculative, like your PPC, if you're in PPC and PPC is down and you've made some money, get out of PPC now. I don't see PPC improving much more versus what it did last year. Those kind of companies, I would definitely say if you can get out. That would be the best thing to do. And lastly, something I've recently gotten into, and that is crypto. What should you do with crypto? Personally, for me, I'm going to hold on to all of the crypto that I have, even though it's down. I would actually say this is the time to buy more. When you're speculating on something like, crypto, where the market just goes crazy at periods of time and sells off at a different, I would definitely say it's a time to sell off. Trying to predict where the bottom is an impossible thing to do. Similarly to trying to predict where the top is, you basically need to, set a price and say, okay, I'm comfortable getting in at this price and I'm comfortable getting out at that price. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole can generally continue to go down, but there's a way to hedge your bets with those kind of things. And as we'll go over the crypto videos, I'll get into it with DeFi and the different things that you can do in DeFi to sort of help you with the potential losses that you can run into when Bitcoin or crypto is down. But I can tell you for a fact, the crypto I have is down from where I initially bought it, mainly because I bought it at the beginning of the year and it's come down quite a bit since then. But that doesn't discourage me and it's not stopped me, because as well, I have said the crypto I'm in is just a punt. So let's see how the punt goes. And yeah, basically that is all I have to say about that. These market sell-offs happen from time to time. I purely think that it's up to us to come up with the best plan that works for you when things are good and when things are bad. It's the reason why I use dollar cost averaging or rand cost averaging, because whether the market is up, whether the market is down, you are investing, and it doesn't really shift or change your position. And it also forces you to sort of get into stocks that you would marry rather than stocks that you're holding for now and just want to get rid of. So personally for me, I would say my main approach with everything is I'm going to keep holding and keep buying as I would with the normal things. Some of the punts and the more speculative shots that I'd had before, it's time to get out and sort of find new things to sort of speculate on in the hopes that they'll, get all the way back up where they need to be. One of the biggest positions in my portfolio, which is Vukile Property Fund, hasn't moved, as a result of all of the market sell-off, mainly because it's in property and sort of what's gone on doesn't really affect it. But it's the kind of stock that I've decided I want to marry and keep for a long time, and it's been good. It's been giving me good dividends, and I have no reason to sell right now into that, which is my biggest position. And it's purely because I did the due diligence before of checking what the company does, liking the company's portfolio, and so on and so forth, and knowing Guti, even if things go down, they're going to continue to pay out a dividend, which is good. And also the price at which I had initially got in and continue to go in, because I've not stopped buying Vukile, I think is done really well. But I do think at some point in this year I need to stop buying Vukile, because it's not growing as quickly as I'd anticipated it would back to its pre-COVID gains. But yeah, Vukile is another story for another day. But basically, market sell-off, what do? Hold on to what I can hold on to. Everything that was a punt, get out, look for a new punt, and see how that goes. Like always, this has been your boy Pro Mjimani. I'd say we still have the giveaway going on. I'm looking to get to that first 500, which every day people are subscribing. I'm happy to see that. I definitely do think that we will give away that first 500. Hopefully we get all the way up to the big prize. But yeah, it's all up to you guys on how that does. Anyway, see you guys in the next video.